Hello, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the What's Working podcast with me, Spencer, the director of Hatch Development. On today's episode, we've got Mohamed from Forcivate. Mohamed, lovely to have you on the show.
Thanks, Spencer, and very nice to be on here and excited for this episode.
Likewise, likewise. If we could just start the episode then by a little brief introduction to yourself and to Forcivate.
I would say I'm a student. I'm a student of life. I'm an engineer. I like to build things. And that's where it led me from being a full stack engineer in solar installation and solar technology business all the way to the CEO and founder of Forcivate, where we created Forcivate's integrated intelligence that we're excited to be sharing today. Some insights about how we use AI to work with human expertise in order to achieve better results.
Sure. So obviously you've gone from a similar position to that what I used to be an engineer to business owner. What were the key takeaways or growth things that you've actually picked up on from being a logical engineer into being having a full business to run?
Primarily, wherever you can save yourself some time, you should take that chance. Efficiency, efficiency, efficiency. When we're engineers, we spend a lot of time on perfecting, usually. We want the ideal plan set. The customer wants the plan set. The permitting needs the plan set. Let's get the plan set. Things like that, but also not going on the other extreme of streamlining and taking too abrupt risk. So finding that balance between risk to to good quality ratios is primarily the main difference.
Yeah, for sure. I've got to agree with you on that one. I think what I found really hard in the beginning was exactly that, being having a plan and having things to tick off the list and doing something by order in the right order to get a certain outcome to then being put in a scenario where if you're not agile, you've not got the ability to pivot when things go wrong or adjust certain things in real time. I think you get left behind, don't you? So I think being able to learn that new skill was just as hard as starting the business. I think it was one of those things where it's either you learn that skill or you're in the wrong business. But in terms of your background, then, so how has the solar industry technology landscape evolved from your experience from being a full stack engineer to running Forcivate?
It's changed quite a bit because before it was all reliant on Excel spreadsheets and CRM tools and fragmented solutions. Now with especially with AI, it's a handful to keep up with all of these tools. That's why we led to creating Forcivate's integrated intelligence. So nowadays with AI and human expertise, we allow companies to transform their business, use their data wisely, and convert more on the top line and achieve better efficiency, save their time better.
So, just for the people listening, can we break down Forcivate? We've had a conversation prior to this, and it's a really unique software. I've never heard of something like this before. So, can we break the Forcivate's principles down for the listeners?
Sure. The idea of Forcivate is a business transformation platform. Instead of going the route of finding, I want to work with Oracle, SAP, Salesforce, all the old tech companies, and spending the time on telling them their problems for them to define some solutions that may or may not possibly work. We've created a business transformation platform that's ready to start right away. So saves businesses about 9 to 12 months on the start. And then on the landscape, on the solar landscape, it allows solar companies to convert more of their leads, being more leveling the ground between the likes of Sunrun and between solar installers that specialize in a specific niche, like a metal roof installation.
Yeah, got you. So, just so I fully understand it, you're basically bridging the gap for the small companies and being able to allow them to compete with the larger companies using this integrated intelligence solution.
Yes. You know, the most important thing on that point in any business is your leads being ready to buy, having the intent of purchase. And when you have them, you want to be ready. You're not gonna scramble and get them a proposal. That's what we streamline that process where when the customer is ready to join into solar, get them the customer education process started right away because it takes time.
Yeah, this is a typical thing that comes up in these conversations every week that I speak to founders like yourself. It's the education part of the solution. I think it's a really important part of any business is to be able to actually educate the market on their product. And I think this is something that we try and do with this podcast is try and break down these complex solutions, especially nowadays with all these different AI tools and things. And it's able to break down these complex solutions and whatever it might be and make it digestible for the market. And I think that's the number one goal in any founder's marketing plan is educate first, and then, like you say, the leads will be warm and ready to buy, and they'll have that intent. But in terms of you creating this solution, what actually drove you to create an integrated intelligence solution rather than just implementing standard AI tools?
That's a very good question, Spencer. I believe the AI um, is capped in creativity. It was built on human ideas, and it needs humans to keep innovating. Otherwise, we're going to go into AI hallucination, and I don't want to go into that part. But that's when it comes to if we just put one plus one together, I'm going to be using the system because the customer is not buying an AI tool, they're buying solar from you. So you bring your expertise with AI and you level them in a way that they can communicate without having spending the time to learn how to talk to the AI and the AI trying to understand the um, project manager, sales representative, even the client asking the questions. It has that expert level knowledge because you have the experts in real time. So the AI feels safe that if I don't know, I don't need to come up with an answer. I can reroute. Doing that balance is kind of where we help business owners like myself and you as well, Spencer, to level up instead of finding all the reasons why we can't sell and confusing more customers about financing, PPAs, and inverter types, optimizers, inverters. All of these are features. Customers don't want to hear about it. They want to know how much they can save money. You can show them because your relationships, right? And being a niche product and a service provider gives you a market advantage if you invested. Forcivate integration, Forcivate's integrated intelligence allows or facilitates that business transformation for your data sets and allows on companies who have established themselves in the market, allows them to share more of their stories, success stories.
For sure. So, in terms of Forcivate as a solution, then who's it for? Is it the end user that uses it? Is it the brokers? Is it the installers? Who actually gets to use Forcivate?
You can think of it as a system where every installer, project manager, sales representative, every person employed in a solar installation business, residential or commercial, could log in every day and know what they're doing. You know how you and I started the conversation with saying we just need to define our to-do list. We use AI to imperatively work in your and bakes into your current business flows to not go abruptly different, but streamline the tedious, repetitive tasks that nobody has been picking up after a very long time of picking it up, which is a human disaster. And that is where we have the platform every to keep it simple. Every project manager, every design engineer, and every sales rep and project coordinator will log in through forcivate.com. And they will have their own 360 or their 360 view angle of the project from what matters to them.
Got you, got you. So, how do you actually see the relationship between AI and human expertise evolving in the solar industry?
I believe companies that do not utilize the power of AI right now are going to be left behind, especially with the current advancements of competition. People are not waiting, and solar is more and more of a need right now, and it's time to collaborate. If we don't use AI to collaborate, at least you'll be really left behind.
Yeah, I agree. I think you see that in normal life as well. I think people in day-to-day life use AI now, and obviously it streamlines a lot of basic tasks and things like that. But in terms of like a business aspect, then I think what from my point of view is there's a lot of AI solutions out there, and I think because there is a lot of AI solutions out there, a lot of businesses have got the guard up or they're a bit scared to implement them because of the sheer choice of AI solutions. And I think to combat that, I think we need to actually isolate a problem within a business to then actually find the right solution to solve that problem. And I just think that goes back to the education part again. And I think that you do this really well at Forcivate is you actually educate the market on what problem you solve first and you only solve one specific problem within one specific niche. So it makes it really easy to get the leads in. And like you say, the intent to buy is already there just due to your education and things like that. What else do you think businesses can do to actually educate the market, not just on Fortivate, but just on AI as a whole?
I believe people just need to start, Spencer. If I'm being completely honest with you, we have this guard up from AI when it can really distinguish your services apart. It helps you with your communication. You've been a technical person or in the construction arena, you're in business um, to build a building, to build solar, to build something. Get someone who knows how to build software. Second piece is how are they gonna maintain the platform? Because having the generic tools, that's everywhere, right? Everyone can market really well. But having the robust infrastructure to support that tool and be able to support it on a consulting level as of, all right, this is not working for you, why is it not working for you, where it's not all the features in the world, but it's enough features to streamline your business to 2x 3x to an attainable goal moving forward. That would be the trend once people are tired and lost, right, in words. That's communication can really drown you. Now it's starting to read ChatGPT with all the blur. But in the beginning, it was wow. Now everyone knows how to read ChatGPT. That is where generic tools will take themselves out naturally. And that is the education process, in my opinion, Spencer. So let's not rush it because it does take time to build good models, anyways. But if you are someone who knows enough to get a conversation started, get it going with anyone. Getting it going with how can I start using AI is usually how consultants like to start the conversation. And that's what we want to know. And as contractors, that was a very difficult thing because, we're always ready to build things from scratch. Having worked there myself and been on the field several times in installation, that was the fun part of things. And that's where we need to learn that AI is not regular automation. It's not a spreadsheet, right? It needs more of expertise to do sophisticated items that you need. So find your problem, communicate it, and get started. That's gonna be the idea of the next generation of AI.
Yeah, no, I think you touched on a really good point there of like having that rush of like, oh, we need AI in the business or we're falling behind. But I think you could put yourself back by just putting any generic tool in the business that doesn't solve the problem that's within the business. Or you look for problems within the business because you want to implement AI. And I think because AI is so powerful, and if you utilize it in that right way and put it into the right processes and you get it to do the right things, yeah, you can definitely put yourself years ahead of where you would have been prior to that. But if you put it into the wrong part of the business with the wrong people, with the wrong outcomes, then you could go around in circles, or it's not cheap for some of these really big AI implementations. I had a conversation with a company that basically works with oil and gas companies on the water management side, and they basically implement AI agents into the tracking of leaks and things. And they alluded to certain things within that business about it being really expensive, but a lot of people look to put AI into the business, and they've turned people away because they're like, yeah, this solution could fit this area of the business, but this is not what you think it is. And I think again, it's that old age saying of it's the shiny object syndrome, isn't it? It's like because everyone else is using it, it's trendy, doesn't mean that it's going to suit your business. So I think being able to isolate the problem first and then implement the right solution second is really, really key to being successful with AI. But in terms of the customer journey, then, why has it become more challenging for customers to get solar in recent times?
Primarily because the confusion around financing, cash options, how do I install, the number of modules, it's overwhelming for any person to keep up with the different 0.03% change in efficiency. And right now, that's all your sales reps are talking about, and reliability. And you're talking about when the system will fail or what will happen. That's not very promising versus educating them as of, all right, I will install in a week, in 2 weeks, in 4 weeks, and your system will be on in 2 months, and you'll get no bills for 12 months. Simple, straight to the point. That's how solar works, primarily around the whole world nowadays. Then you cannot commit those numbers because you don't have data. Some installations, they take less than a week, and then they get inspection in 6 months because there was a small problem that you didn't want to explore because you were firefighting. That's where AI can help. Primarily in Forcivate, we have a customer portal that kind of displays a real-time view for customers, and that's why we can make it easier. And that's one of the alleys that AI tools really integrate very well, is informing your customer. Then comes the second piece of, all right, here's my track record in San Jose, California. Here's my track record in San Francisco, California. You are a house in San Francisco, California. It will take me 6 weeks to install because the permitting process is 4 weeks. Having that sharpness and trust and confidence with your client or your customer, homeowner, they will feel comfortable trusting you with their garage door code, right, to do the installation. That is where you build the connection, and that's what makes successful sales. Everyone was rushing to solar because solar made sense. With net energy metering, you are paying the money in multiples, and you're not getting the uninterrupted service that you're promised. Now, all of this has settled in, and there's still the needs for batteries and solar panels. Don't get me wrong, we need to keep innovating there, but it's not the first thing we want to educate the customer about. You can educate them why you picked it for the customer, to meet a price point. That's a customer type. Another thing, Spencer, that makes it very difficult and challenging in the solar industry is the disorganization that we have. We are very competitive, and it becomes very unwelcoming to homeowners to bring in their house into this hostility. I'll give you install. We have Sunrun right now as we record installing Tesla Powerwalls for $12 a month. Again, this is wrong because look at the comments and then you will see all the bad service. And when can you install that? It's not affordable for any business, even if it's Sunrun.
Yeah.
That's the race to the bottom that we need to change the mindset to get solar where it needs to belong and back on the right track.
So you just mentioned the chase to the bottom there. What do you think could we change within the solar industry to stop that happening? I think happens in a lot of markets where things get commoditized by the big dogs at the top who can undercut everyone by price, and it takes away from a good quality service. You'll have independent installers and brokers and things who do a really, really good job, but then you get the big companies who don't really care about the experience and things like that. They just care about money. What can we do to try stop that race to the bottom?
Find your and know your customer. Like, get your PhD in your customer. Get your PhD in your customer base. As of, I do amazing metal roofs. I do great data centers, solar. And it's you and your appetite. Find the alleys that you can serve best. Find the customers that are experiencing the problem. Then go serve them with the solar, solving that pain point, because everyone needs electricity, full stop. Everyone has a cell phone, everyone has a laptop. We are talking on technology right now. The audience is watching on technology. We need to charge our phones, our devices. We need electricity, and the electricity energy cannot be broken nor destroyed, but can be transferred, right? Sun is transferring it for us. Put some solar panels on your roof. It exists. Rent it to yourself, invest in your own property, and save on your bills. So if you're a business, why would you not want to save on your cost? There's someone who's trying to solve on their cost. They are just not experiencing the problem right now because they're trying to fight staying in business, and you're trying to convince them that this solar savings will help them stay in business is a wrong place. You put yourself in the wrong pool. You can pause it with a good pause, right? And go find someone who needs solar right now, who's trying to learn about solar, is confused across the board, and see how you can come up to a deal. Structure an actual deal, because every house is built differently. That's why you hire realtors to sell it. Solar consultants are educating the customer about the next 20 years of their energy consumption. I think it's an undertaking.
Yeah, for sure. I think solar's been around for a lot longer than people think, but it's also in its new days. I think there's a lot to learn with solar and where it's going to go in the future. I think from my experiences from building utility scale projects to actually being an installer myself in Australia, I think it's come a long way since then. And you guys in the US have got it a little bit more tricky than us guys in the UK with President Trump coming on board, and he doesn't really believe in climate change and all that sort of stuff. So I think regulation is going to be a bit of an issue for you guys over there, and but I'm sure there'll be ways around it and things like that. Looking forward to this year, then, what's really like exciting you for the opportunities in the solar industry? What are you going after in terms of Forcivate? Like, what's really getting you going in terms of the solar industry?
What is really getting us is people, solar installers that are trying to grow their business. They're not trying to find and blame President Trump for the policy changes or what he needs to get done. People tend to judge you based on the decisions you make and not the choices you had while making the decision, right? And that is where part of it is where we have some solar installers that admire what they're doing, that do not want to get rid of their employees, that want to empower their employees. They want to use AI to step up their game and not wasn't in solar just to make money. That's primarily who we would like to invite to join Forcivate, because it's a movement. And us staying together will help us stay together and find and circulate a cooperative or a collaborative industry rather than a fragmented one, where we can have impose different revenue streams using our sales expertise.
Got you. So I was going to ask you, if I was a solar broker or an installer, sorry, where would I go to educate myself about Forcivate? Have you got a website? Are you on LinkedIn? Where can I go and find you?
So they can always go on forcivate.com. We have abundance of free courses. We have an academy that we are making free courses. Certifications are attained if someone lost their job and they're trying to get back into the marketing pool. There are people hiring out there and looking for good candidates. Freshen up, and you'll learn how to use AI as well. That's the added benefit on using our courses. So they're not like the outdated academic, more interactive with experience. So for employers, when they are not that busy right now, they're also using this academy to educate. So that's one of the alleys of why they should go onto forcivate.com. And then another piece on social media. We are on LinkedIn. They can connect with me on LinkedIn. Happy to connect and see how our business can help them grow and how we can get them on set up on their own level of platform in the fastest possible time and help them save money, right? The Spencer, I want to introduce a different terminology here, because sales reps are always selling on something called return on investment, which in my opinion is very hard to prove in solar, specifically in solar. Then followed then by tech. And that's why we're at the intersection of all of them, and then followed by consulting. So we're doing all three of them. The reason is because it's a cost of inaction. It's not really the return on investment. You will not make the decision, but you not making the decision is the decision, right? And
Yeah.
that's the cost of inaction. So when we put that together and we have that mindset shared, we can give in one demo ideas, even if you don't change your Excel sheet, right? You learn a way you can enhance your Excel sheet or a piece of data that you can start collecting and investing. And that is the power of conversating rather than guarding all your trade secrets. There's no trade secrets, it's installation, right? And sharing leads. If you have a solar lead in a state or outside of your territory, find and collaborate with someone in the territories of that lead and give it to them in a good faith, even trading. That is, I believe, more in line with the update and policy changes. And that's where we can also help on directions of where there's business opportunities across the United States. So a lot of our services are done post getting the implementation, where we do market research and we help installers with management consulting, having uh, been experts. We have our own contracting license in California. We have a multiple pool of expertise that can, you don't need to explain to them your conduit or pipe, they understand it. And that helps save a lot of time, which is indirectly money, and that's the cost of inaction.
For sure. And I think that's a really, really good point to end on. I think leading with value and helping the community out, I think it's the same thing, isn't it? I think if you help someone out, it's always going to come back to you in a positive light. I just think in a day and age where people think that they need to go and grab as much money and take from other people, I think you only have to look at the numbers, especially in solar. I think the solar industry as a whole is going to be around 40 billion by 2040. So there's enough money to go around. There's no need to be snatching at every deal if it's outside of your territory. Like I say, if you're going to help someone out, help them out, and like lead with value at every step. And I know from experience, if you help people out and give with value, it always comes back to you eventually. So yeah, I think that's a great place to end the podcast, Mohammed. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on today. Yeah, thanks for so much for coming on.
Thank you, Spencer, for having me. Appreciate it very much.